Ahoy! There is a misconception in the world that has been going around more and more. This misconception prevents players from enjoying the game the way they would like to because they either think they can't play with others or they cannot play with others because of it. I'm talking about expectations for gearing. Now in PvP for the most part no one can stop you from gearing Arena or Outpost Rush, it doesn't matter, and Wars will obviously be very selective when it comes to what gear you have. But in PvE, more and more new players seem to think that you need near best in slot gear to run M10 expeditions, and likewise I have been told by multiple sources now that people are less likely to get into expedition groups if they don't have full legendary sets. And honestly that is so ridiculous that I didn't even believe it was a thing at first. Of course I'm not blaming new players here, they have no clue, and if someone tells them you need legendary to get in, then they will think that may be the truth. But for the players that are actually blocking other people from getting in because they don't have full legendary, well, if you're one of them and you're watching this video, then please absorb the information in here extra strongly. You can run an M10 gold expedition with nothing but the correct war type and a few specific perks that you may require for your loadout. You don't need any legendaries, you maybe sometimes wouldn't even need purples, sometimes you could technically get away with blues, and there are very few outliers to this. The advantage gained from legendary, especially on armor, is extremely limited. In fact, it is so limited that I'd like to show you one of Benedict G's loadouts here. I'll link his channel down below. His group has had various world records over multiple patches, so they know what they're doing, they're speedrunners. And you can see that, for example, for his barnacle setup, almost all of it is purple. And that is true for both the Lost as well as the Angry Earth loadout. Now why is that? The primary perk that you want to have on armor is your ward, the secondary perk is usually a weapon perk, and if it's not that, then usually it's refreshing. Conditioning is something you can technically have on your armor, but if you're going fully into the elemental gem type of the expedition that you're going for, then you will be over 50% absorption, which as far as I'm aware means that conditioning doesn't do anything anymore. So the only three perks that really would be useful would be the war type plus a weapon perk plus refreshing. But the bonus from a few more refreshing isn't that big, and usually you don't need that many weapon perks on your armor anyways, so your benefit here is very limited. In some expeditions, you're actually better off using purple, or for example the craftable Christmas gear that had luck as a third perk. That is when the gear has the protection type of the expedition, so the war type, as well as elemental aversion. This is something that you cannot craft, so sometimes you can't get it as a legendary unless you get it as a drop. An elemental aversion will be more useful than almost any other perk that you could think of, just because it gives you a massive extra amount of damage reduction versus certain types of incoming damage. Especially in weapons that don't benefit as much from refreshing, like the greatsword for example, this is massive. Likewise, when it comes to your amulet, your priority is health and the protection type of the expedition that you're going for, so for example void protection. Empowered is a nice bonus, but Empowered is bugged at the moment anyways, so it doesn't really matter that much. With the earring, it's the same story. You want to have Beloved or Evasive, and you want to have Refreshing Toast. Purifying Toast is a nice bonus for nature or ice mutations, but again, it's not super necessary, it's not mandatory. The three parts where having legendary gear is a significant benefit is on the ring, where you can get various named rings that have illegal perk combinations that are just stronger than anything you can craft or get otherwise anyways, and on quite a few of the weapons. On your weapon you obviously want Bane and then 2 additional damage perks, and those damage perks can have a fair bit of an impact, so you can definitely feel the difference here more than on other parts of your gear. That said, if you're running purple weapons, you will be absolutely fine to do gold M10s anyways. This statement is even more true for your offhand. So all in all, since most third perks are not particularly important and some of the best speedrunners in the world are running purple gear for many expeditions, you do not need full legendary sets to complete Mutation level 10 expeditions. And sometimes it may actually be worse to try doing so. In the next takes we talk about some interesting details for the Sandworm, and we'll also talk about Diablo. If you're interested in that, consider subscribing and clicking the bell. Thanks to my patrons for supporting this video, and thank you for watching. SLOTH, out.